stand on the ceiling and I lift myself up and I can't help believing.
Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast, the podcast where two regular guys dive into everything from sports to movies, current events, and whatever else comes to mind with a healthy dose of humor and unfiltered opinions. I'm Brooks, and as you can see, I've got two younger guys, and they are not Travis. We're going to dive into sports, youth sports with these two young gentlemen. And when we come back, I'll have them introduce themselves, and we'll dive right in. So keep it tuned right here to the Gray Area Podcast.
You're listening to the Gray Area Podcast, where the answers aren't always black and white, but the laughs are guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast. I am graced by their presence. Two young men who play youth sports, happen to be baseball. We have tennis, basketball, baseball. What else do you do? Well, we'll get into that in a minute. We're going to do introductions first. We'll start over here with the young lad on the left, who is my son. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Bryce Pranger. I'm 14, and I go to Clear Creek High School.
My name is Jackson McNally. I go to Clear Falls High School and play for their Mickey Mantle team.
Perfect. So, as we dive into these subjects, it's a very touchy subject out in the world with youth sports and what a lot of these kids go through. I coached for many years, and the reason why I coached is because I wanted to be the good example. I wanted to treat the kids right. I wanted them to learn without fear of failure. So we're going to get their opinions on what it was like growing up and playing youth baseball here in Texas. We're going to talk about where they play, advice from teammates, coaches, trainers, whatever, and then what their future looks like, and then wherever else this conversation goes, it goes. So I'm going to start with Bryce over here. Bryce, what team do you play for currently?
I play for the Clear Creek High School Mickey Mantle team.
Okay, and Jax?
I play for the Clear Falls Mickey Mantle
Oh, yeah,
team.
that's right. You said that in your intro. That's good. So let's dive a little deeper. Before we go into where you guys play, I'm curious from your perspective on what it was like for tryouts. For me as a parent, it was nerve-wracking because, as a coach, you know what's going on all in everybody in the coach's head. So you just don't know, right? So let's start with Bryce. How was it for you?
I was a little bit nervous at first, but going into it, I was just playing how I know how to play. I was just doing what I know.
Like it was just another practice?
Yeah, it was just like another practice, and I was just playing like normal and made the team.
Cool. Jax?
On the way there, I was shaking a little bit, kind of nervous, but I got there and seeing all my friends start showing up, started having a laugh, and, everything just kind of came smooth.
Yeah. One of the things about anxiety is the only way to get through it is to do it, right? And once you get into it, it's something that you've learned your whole life, and it should just come natural. Now, how did you feel knowing that this is a big deal in Texas when you found out you made the team? Now, Jax, you had 60 kids try out for this team.
73.
73 kids. That's a lot of kids at a 5A high school. 6A. I'm sorry. 6A. I'm getting it wrong all over the place. At a 6A high school. So how did that, what was your feeling when you made the team?
Well, so I had the coach come up to me later after the tryout ended, and we were all kind of shaking hands, and he said, "Don't worry, I'll see you later." So I was going out confident, and 2 days later, got the text, "Hey, you made the team." Had a little celebratory dinner, and
Good. Yeah,
had a good time out of it.
Was it nerve-wracking knowing that you were going up against 73 and they were only taking 20?
At the start it was, but then, like I said, coming in with your friends and everybody, seeing your other competition, it just all kind of came easy. I played good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had so you play select ball as well, and you played with the Bay Area Bolts, which is the team that I helped coach. You had, how many teammates were trying out over there?
From
4?
the Bolts?
Yeah, from the Bolts.
4.
4, including you, or 4?
4 in total.
4 in total. And out of them 4, you were the only one that made that team.
Yep.
And then Bryce, you tried out. How many were at there? Was it 30?
No, it was like 8.
No, no,
it was
it was
20. It was 20 something.
it was like 27. Anyways, it was somewhere in there. And then you got the call, or actually, we sent you the text message. You made the team. How were you feeling?
I didn't really know. Like, I didn't really know it was a big of a deal at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I was just like, it's just another team. But then I just got home after school, after knowing on the bus, after I got the text, and everyone was here, and they all just
Yeah.
like, whoa, you made it.
Yeah. So, and you are also at a 6A school, which is a big deal. Now, this doesn't necessarily guarantee that they make the high school team. It gives them a better chance at making the high school team, because ultimately that's the goal, right, boys?
Yep.
Yeah. So when you're on this Mickey Mantle team, you're either gonna shine and show out, or you're not. And if you don't, that will definitely push you further away from making that team, right? So you guys are, quite a few games into the season of Mickey Mantle. What's it been like for you, Jax?
It's been a great time. We've only lost one game. Our team is amazing compared to others that we've played. All of the friends, everybody's cool. The coach is he's kind of laid back, lets us do what we need to do, and yeah, I think it's just a great time on the team.
Yeah. Have you learned anything during this process?
To not swing at a 3-0 count with bases loaded.
Oh, did you ground out into? Yeah.
Maybe. It was a bad decision.
Bryce, how about you? What's your thoughts on this season so far?
It's nothing. It's just it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. I like playing with all the other kids I haven't played with, and getting to know the coaches is good. So I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, Jax, but Bryce has played positions he's never played before. So where you guys get put into positions where you might not necessarily know exactly what's going on or how to play the position, right? Have you had to do any of that?
Not yet. Coach really, he understands where I play. He knows, like, hey, you play here and here, and you sometimes play there, so we're going to work on where you sometimes play, and when we need you to play the positions you play, we'll play you there.
Okay. And Bryce, you've played third base, which is a position you've never played in your life. So how was that going into there? Was that nerve-wracking?
It was, and then I made an error and I got yelled at. I was like, this is the first time I've ever played third base, so.
Yeah. Well, it's always good, and I think, Jax, we did this with you in Little League, as we played you at every position, and
Every single
position on the field. That way, you had an idea. Now, Bryce, so these two play on the same team, and you can't really tell from Jack's slouching, but Jack sits straight up. He's much bigger than this kid, right? And actually, this one's kind of caught up a hair. He used to be the smallest kid on the team, but so he's actually 13 and you are 14, right? So Bryce has always had to play up with this age group because of the grade that he's in. So going into as a freshman, he's one of the younger freshmen. So Bryce was a little bit lesser developed than these guys. So he couldn't necessarily play all those positions. He either didn't have the arm or just too small. So I don't know where I was going at with this, but Bryce, what is your primary position? What are your positions that you play the most?
I play middle infield and just outfield, mainly those two.
Okay, which do you prefer?
I prefer outfield because I'm fast and I can get to the ball.
Yeah, you also have an arm.
And
Yeah.
Jax, how about you?
I'm mainly a pitcher, catcher, first, third, outfield. I mean, I'm just a utility player. You can play me where you want, do the job.
What's your favorite?
Oh, pitching.
Pitching.
Of course.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. So you got brought up, you don't know this unless your dad told you, but you got brought up during our last game, Bryce's last Mickey Mantle game. You probably don't remember this. After the game, his last at bat, he faced a kid that was throwing low 80s as a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
which is pretty good, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And when Bryce walked. He walked Bryce 4 straight balls because he wasn't warmed up. Yeah, and then he struck out everybody after that. But
like
That was the first one.
yeah, afterwards, I asked Bryce. I said, "What was it like? Were you nervous going up against that guy?"
It was just going up against Jax.
It's exactly what it says. Just like going up against Jax, and meaning that he's seen it. You know, many a times. If that was your first time seeing that kind of heat, you're gonna be behind the ball. You're gonna freak out a little bit, get nervous. So Jax, what's your PR pitching? Speed, velocity wise.
82
82.
or 82, 83.
Okay. And what's your go-to strikeout pitch?
Oh, my go-to? I got a few.
What's your favorite? Or just rattle them off.
Okay, so usually with an 0-2 count, it really depends. I like to tunnel a lot of pitches. So if he swings at a high fastball for an 0-2 count, then obviously I'm just going to tunnel a curveball. Or if he likes backdoor two seams, I'm just going to toss a slitter at his foot. But if I'm going for a strikeout pitch on like 2 fastballs down the middle, it's either going to be a knuckleball or a curveball.
Nice. So for those that are watching, explain tunneling to them.
So tunneling is basically it's vision from the strike zone. So a curveball, when it curves down, it starts high and goes low. So if you throw a fastball before that and it leads high, your curveballs are going to go with that and then drop down low, confusing the batter, making him think, oh, high fastball, swing as the ball drops below them.
Bingo. That's right. So it's the same slot the ball's going to start from, but finish is different.
Yep.
That's it. As a 14-year-old who understands that, that's pretty good. You've got a great coach in
Andrew?
Andrew, yeah, and Andrew, I'm sure you've learned a lot of that from.
Oh, of course.
So Bryce, you also pitch,
Sometimes.
right? So coming up so what happens in select ball, right, is a lot of these kids and Little League, a lot of these kids can be overused. Jax, I don't know that you've been overused. Have you been overused?
Been. I was used to a point where I had tore a muscle in my right arm.
Yes. So if you have a coach that wants to grind a kid out and throw him, a ton of pitches back to back to back, or back to back weekends, it's really hard on their arms. And this guy can attest to it. But as a coach, I understood that, and I did realize at a young age that he had an arm. He could whip the ball from the outfield hard. And Jax was a first baseman for us, and Bryce would play second base. And
Ooh, that was rough.
and Bryce did not know how to calm the throw down from second base, and he would whip that sucker so fast at Jax. And Jax was like, "Bryce, I'm right here, dude," and he got all the time of the day. But having said that, I definitely protected his arm as a kid growing up through being his coach all through Little League and select ball. We definitely didn't dive into it. Now, if he dove into it a little bit more, I think he could be he's decent when he's on. It's just he has this moment. So your first outing at Mickey Mantle, how did that go for you? Because you did pitch.
I did. I think I did pretty well.
Yeah.
I had like
8 pitches.
8.
No,
Wow.
was it 8 or 10?
No, it was like 10.
10 pitches.
That good.
Okay, 10 pitches in an inning. 1 strikeout. Yeah, and you had no hits.
That's great.
Yeah,
It's really good.
yeah, and the funny thing about this is we played Pasadena Memorial. The first batter he saw was Max.
Uh-huh.
And so Max was on our Bolts team. So then it was like, all right, here we go. Let's see what happens here. And so the first pitch, Max tries to bunt and gets a strike on Max, right?
Nice.
Second pitch, Bryce just blew one by him. Next pitch, Max drives one to center field.
Oh, and it's a catch.
And it's
I
caught
seen that
out,
one.
yeah. So Bryce won the battle, even though Max hit off him, but he still won the battle. But yeah, what's your favorite pitch to throw?
Fastball.
Yeah? What's your go-to strikeout pitch?
Fastball.
No. Is it?
I only threw one off speed that whole entire inning, which was a curveball. And then
For a strike.
yeah, only threw fastball.
Yeah. But you have a nasty curve too. Okay, let's move on to something. Talking about your positions, we'll start with you, Bryce. Let's just start at outfield because you said that's your favorite. What does it take to play your position?
It it takes work outside of practice and outside the games. It takes just practice and
So is it tough to catch a pop fly?
not really
But why is that? Why is it not really tough
because I've played outfield
for a while?
for a while.
What do you have to do to track down that ball? You just got to know the angle, how it's coming off the bat. Tracking, that's right. Would you say you have to be fast
I'd say you have to be pretty fast to get to the ball.
and then get
if
it
it's
in?
like in a tough place, yeah.
Yeah.
Have an arm to get it in.
Have an arm, right? So you also play second base. What does it take to play second base? Like, what do you have to do?
Yeah. Like
Did I put you on the spot here? Like understanding the situational baseball
yeah, understand knowing what you have to do before the play is there.
is happening, right?
Like before, like if it comes to me, I'm going 2, I'm going 1.
Right.
Just know where you're going.
So you mentioned something about outside of practice or games. What is it that you do outside of practice or games?
Well, outside of games, I just I hit off the tee,
Okay.
do stuff like that, do some drills like medicine balls at the gym,
Yeah, working out.
stuff like that.
Okay. Jax, let's move to you. What does it take to play your positions?
Um,
Let's start at pitcher.
Pitcher, amazing arm to eye to brain coordination.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanics have to be spot on. If you want to go anywhere with pitching, you pretty much have to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot moving when you're pitching, right? And you don't really understand it. You just think it's throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot with weight distribution, just hips and your shoulders and everything else like that, and where your stride is and everything. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot that goes into that. What about some other positions?
Mostly the other positions that I have to play, you just have to have a glove for. You got
Yeah.
to be able to snag, catch. Third, you got to have that hot hand. You're ready for everything that comes at you, no matter where it is. First base, you got to be able to catch
Yeah.
everything.
And snagging balls in the dirt.
Got to be athletic, get up there for those high balls that Bryce throws over my head.
Not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Oh, and catching.
Yeah,
Catching's
let's talk catching.
rough.
Yeah, so what's it take to go into that?
You got to be an athlete to catch,
Yeah.
because that's the hardest position on the field by far.
Oh, I would agree with that. Now, when you're catching, what is the funnest thing about catching to you?
Oh my God! Either blocking a really, really, really low, nasty curveball and getting that out at first for a strike 3, or throwing someone down at third.
Oh.
Second's fun, but hosing someone at third, you can't top that.
Nice. Are you the catcher that talks smack to the batters?
Oh, of course. We'll never shut up behind the plate.
Right. So have you ever? What are some of the things you say to them? Keep it clean.
Okay, so I'm not really like a crap talker behind the plate, but I'll talk to him and say like, hey, fastball high, it's incoming, and then low curveball and whatnot. I'll talk to the umpire behind the plate, ask him how his day's going mid pitch. I'll tell the batter, hey, you might want to move out the way, I'm throwing him down. Just funny stuff to get in their head, make
Okay.
them lose focus.
Yeah. How come you never did any of that when you were mic'd up for us?
never
you
caught.
would, or you would, yeah, or when you wouldn't be mic'd up, or you didn't want to be mic'd up while you're catching. That's what I wanted to catch on film,
Dude, because I cuss a lot behind the plate.
Yeah, that was one of the fun things that we did in select ball was mic you guys up. We've got a whole TikTok, Coach B, that goes through the last few years of you boys being mic'd up and just hearing all the funny stuff that comes out of your guys' mouth when you. Like you trying to pay Noah $1 for every miles an hour he went over 70 miles an hour.
I remember that.
Bro didn't even hit 65.
62 was his top.
Oh yeah, speaking about Noah, he was supposed to be here for this show, but he's
Out there winning games.
winning
yeah.
games, playing baseball. Yeah, so we'll have to get him on the next show. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll keep going on this conversation. Cool. Keep it tuned right here to the Gray Area Podcast.
You're listening to the Gray Area Podcast, where the answers aren't always black and white, but the laughs are guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast. I've got the two youngsters over here, the baseball players, and we're going to continue the chat about youth sports in Texas. Jax, as you know, Texas is big. It's big for youth sports. What is it like playing baseball in this state?
That's a tough question. I'd say playing baseball in the South is probably one of the better experiences you'd have than playing in, like, I don't know, Idaho or a northern state. Down here, you play all year round. There's thousands, if not maybe a million teams that you could pick from.
Mm-hmm.
So many organizations, being one of the biggest states for youth baseball and just youth sports in general gives you a lot of variety and, it's a lot of different people to meet. I think it's a great time.
So would you say that, playing year round is taxing on the body? How does that work for you?
I think playing year round is definitely good if you want to train, if you want to, really progress in your sport. But I think that listening to your body is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Instead of, just taking an entire season off.
I agree. Now, Bryce, you've played year round just like Jax has, and there came a time mentally where you were just kind of done, right? You just were like, I'm done playing baseball. It's every weekend, every other weekend, which as a kid growing up, there's other things that you guys like to do, go play with your friends. You guys sacrifice a lot of that time with your friends and just being able to do that for a sport that you love, because you guys both have the passion for the game. Bryce, how did you handle that when you came across that?
I just kept on playing. I just kept on playing. I dealt with it because, you guys, you and Mom were putting in a lot of money and time, like every Sunday and Saturday, every weekend. You sacrificed to come and watch us, and you paid for all of that, and I just didn't want to. I don't know. I just didn't want to.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I understand that. But you did take a little break,
A week.
It was probably a few weeks, and that helped you rejuvenate, kind of refine your passion. Now, I understand that there is a lot of money and time that the family gives up. That's part of it that you kids a lot of times don't understand, because what we want to do is we want to support your passions, right? And we want you guys to have what it takes to move to the next level, or whatever it is your passion is. Bryce, what do you want to do with baseball? What's your dreams?
My dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Play for the Astros.
Okay. So you want to play in the big leagues, right? Jax, what about you? You want to play for the softball team?
Men's
ladies?
softball would be pretty
The
cool,
ladies
though.
softball?
I think preferably I'd want to make it D1, D2, and then whatever's next is whatever's next.
So what is your dream? Is D1, D2 your dream?
My dream is to go play for NYU baseball.
NYU.
New
Your
York.
dream is not major leagues.
No.
You think but you would take it if it came.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
If it was on the table, there's no doubt about it. I don't care what team I'm going to.
And if you made it to the big leagues, what position would you would want to be?
Probably a pitcher.
Pitcher?
I'm pretty good at first, but I like my ways with my pitching.
Bryce, what would you want to play?
Outfield.
Outfield? Yeah.
Kyle
Tucker, Jake Myers. Jake Myers is on fire in the outfield, bro. One of the best outfielders in the league right now. What is the hardest part of baseball? And we'll start with Jax.
Mental.
Mental?
Yep. Everything about it.
Yeah. So after mentality, or your mental part of that game, what is it? What is the breakdown of baseball? 80%?
No, 95% mental, 5% physical. Because 5%. You got to stay fit. You got to be able to move around. Yeah, you know, you got to walk.
Yeah.
Like-
you got to be strong though too.
Yeah, you got to be pretty strong.
So maybe 90.
90, 10, yeah. But, you know, baseball, you think about it too much, you'll start, you know, seeing things in the room.
Yeah.
You start going crazy.
So after that, what's the hardest thing to do in baseball? Is it pitch? Is it
To hit a ball.
To what?
To hit a ball.
To hit a ball.
Mhm.
That's
I've had some experiences. I was 13. I faced a 94 in an 18U tournament against San Jacinto commits.
Oh wow.
And I could barely see it, and I still got a blooper down the third base line and ran it out. So, you know, I was happy with it.
Bryce, what's the hardest part of baseball for you?
Same thing he said.
Well, just say it then.
Mental.
Yeah, and then what's the hardest part of baseball? You know, playing the outfield, second base, what?
It's the hardest part about playing.
In the game, like hitting.
Yeah, I'd say what he said. Just hitting. You know.
Hitting's tough. Hitting is the toughest thing to do in any sport. This is what I love about baseball. If you take a football player, a basketball player, and have them try to hit a baseball, 8 times out of 10 they won't, right? They may get lucky. You take a baseball player and have him play basketball, he's going to hit a couple buckets. You take a baseball player and you put him on the football field, he's going to do something, right? Because that's just athletics, right? Yeah, you can, absolutely. A ball's thrown to you, you're going to catch it, right? If you're wide
baseball
open.
player.
Yeah, you're a baseball player. But baseball is the hardest thing to do. And then if you're one of those sports and you come try to pitch,
Oof.
that's tough too, right?
I think that would be harder than hitting. a
Hitting,
ball.
yeah, being
Consistently
accurate,
pitching.
yeah, consistent. Now you could probably throw one strike,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
You know, just lob it in there.
right. So yeah, you guys chose one of the hardest sports to play and learn. Mentally is the hardest part. Mentally, you nailed it on the head, Jax, with the mental part of baseball. I've coached over 18 years, 17 years or so. You probably didn't know that. Because I also coached my daughter who played softball.
Even though you had a daughter.
Yes, you did, Zoe. She's 22.
Oh.
No. Anyways.
By chance have the number?
Whoa! There she is. Jax's dad holds out a head cut that we had of Zoe's for graduation. But now I just lost my train of thought. What the heck were we talking about?
Said, you were coaching for 15
Oh
years.
yeah, coaching for 15 years, and the mental part of the game is the toughest because I've seen kids fall completely apart and then have to work their way. And I'm not pointing fingers at any kid that's ever fallen apart on me in a baseball game, but they just so happen to be right next to me, a couple of them.
Maybe.
But you guys have learned from that, and you guys actually, you know, it takes falling apart to come back stronger, right? And you guys, both of you guys have grown a lot mentally in the game of baseball. And that, for me, I'm really proud of that, of the two of you. So we talked about your future plans. What if baseball doesn't work out? Bryce, what do you want to do?
Sport-wise, just like any other sport,
No, just anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Like, what if your sports plan just doesn't work out? Like, you don't go where you want to go?
I don't know what I would do.
You have another passion, don't you?
Bikes.
Yeah. So what's your dream with bikes?
I wanna race
You want to race e-bikes? Or just bikes in general?
bikes.
Yeah. You did talk about building bikes and creating your own brand at one point in time.
Manufacturing would be
That's
fun.
what I'm doing engineering in high school, so
Okay.
I want to learn how to do all that stuff.
Okay. Jax?
Going into trade, if baseball doesn't work out, I'm gonna work those $1 million jobs that nobody else wants to do.
Oh, that's good. Like what kind of trade? Like welding?
Welding, you know, I think if baseball doesn't work out, I'm definitely gonna take some time and go underwater welding.
Oh, that would be cool. And they make bank, bro.
Yeah, I know.
So, to what you might want to do if this all fails and maybe you get hurt or whatever, Mike Rowe, the host of Dirty Jobs, have you ever heard of him? He actually has a non-for-profit deal that places kids into trade stuff, like give you extra training, scholarships towards that, and will pay your schooling for you. So when it comes time to that, even though you're still going through baseball, you should probably still pursue those things.
Oh yeah.
You might want to look into that when it comes to colleges and baseball programs together, because you could get a free ride. Shout out Mike Rowe. That's a great thing you're doing for America, is getting these kids back into trade schools, because trade schools have fallen off.
Completely.
They used to be in school where you'd have a welding class, shop class, and stuff like that. And I don't think they have that anymore.
They have a few at Lake. I know there's one at Lake where you can take welding, and there's one at Horizons, and that's about it.
Yeah. Same thing with automotive, because my older boy wants to do automotive trade. So then we're looking at all that for him as well. So let's talk about coaches, trainers, teammates. Who's your favorite teammate you've ever played with? It doesn't have to be on the.
Oh my God.
You got water.
Got water.
Yeah. It choked on air.
It can be any team you've ever played with, Little League, all the way through select, all the way up to your Mickey Mantle team.
Oh my gosh.
And you got to tell me why.
I'd say Noah.
Noah?
Santolinas, yeah.
Yeah, he's a hilarious kid.
He's been with me since I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Best friends ever since.
Yeah. 9 years old on the Yankees?
Yep.
In Little League?
Yankees.
Man.
Old Miss.
Old Miss. Oh, yeah, Bryce was on Ole Miss team.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I can't believe that the whole season kind of bypassed me, because I didn't.
Yeah, I don't remember anything.
Yeah. Well, I didn't coach that year because I was coaching my older boy, and I was like, I ain't helping this team. So yeah, I just let Bryce do his own thing. And Bryce, who's your favorite teammate?
Not this one.
Why is that? No, because he pushed you. He got on you when you made mistakes.
No.
Every single time.
Well,
Hold you accountable.
to be fair, I did sell every ball when I was pitching and when I was at second. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite teammate.
Going all the way back to Little League. I know there's a lot of kids you guys have played with. No?
Not really.
Remember JD
I say-
Lighthouse? I remember him.
He was talking a lot of smack whenever whenever I made the Mickey Mantle team and he didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't make it.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. It's a tough game out there, and you got to be able to be athletic and show promise and whatnot. So, so moving on to coaches. I could throw a loaded question out there. I know I'd be the answer to one of these. Bryce, who's your favorite coach?
Hey, you see that guy back there?
Tough one.
Yeah.
You-
Yes.
You're
That's
bad. You've coached me literally all my life.
yeah. So I've been his coach the whole time. You've had a few other teams, so you've had some good coaches along the way. Who's your favorite coach? And you don't have to say me. I'm not putting pressure on there.
My Mickey Mantle coach, he's growing on me a lot. I like him a lot.
So you have a different scenario than what he has. You actually have the high school coach.
No,
Oh no.
no, we have the Bay Area Knights, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's
Oh.
the head coach from them is the head coach for the Falls team.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have an actual coach though.
Oh yeah, no, he's a real coach. Yeah.
Yeah. So they just have the outgoing seniors coaching their team.
Yeah, we don't have those.
Yeah. Well, that's good because isn't he somehow know the head coach at Falls or?
Coach Villarreal, yeah.
Yeah.
He knows, he's real good friends with Coach Flores. They made a whole deal about it, and now he's the head coach for the team. He's also coaching the Knights, so he's experienced in it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's good. I kind of wish that all the high school Mickey Mantle teams had a coach that was close to the high school coach. But you have some kids who, you guys had Coach Will, and Coach Will was really close to your age, right? I think he just turned 21, and you guys related to him a little differently than you would me or JD, and because we're old guys, and
Yeah, real old.
and you guys, so he's kind of got that young mentality that you guys have. So it was easier for you guys, I think, to play along and talk to him and, just talk baseball the way you kids do, right? He knows the lingo, all that brain rot that you guys use.
Oof, don't even bring that up.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And that's kind of what these guys are, but these guys have never, I don't think, have coached teams before.
Me?
No, the coaches for his Mickey Mantle.
Oh,
Yeah, you haven't coached a team.
yeah.
you were first base coach.
I've been a coach before.
Really? Who'd you coach?
I was assistant coach for the Gladiators at one point, and then I assistant coached with y'all,
Yeah. Okay.
and then I literally did not. I had a game. I had a game on Ghost where I literally coached the team
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. When
because our coach couldn't show up, and he texted me and told me, "Hey, help me out, coach this team for me for this weekend before
yeah.
my dad shows up."
there's a lot of pressure there, huh?
No. Huh?
Yeah, to start the game.
The Mickey Mantle team, if we couldn't get a coach to get the team, like to get a game because we were missing, like if we had to get an extra game going.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, everybody was like, "No, Jackson can coach it."
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you do have a full understanding of the game. Number one, you played every position. You pitch. You understand those kinds of things, and you do understand your teammates, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
coaching is also understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your teammates.
Well,
Of
on
the-
past teams, yeah, but Mickey Mantle teams, our team doesn't have a weakness.
That's
We're
good.
just great all around.
That's good, but you definitely have a kid that's at that's at first base that might not be able to play outfield, right? I mean, I'm just, sometimes they're bigger kids that aren't fast.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So there are strengths and weaknesses there where you put them in the right position.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what coaching is. Now, parents don't like that because they want their star first baseman to also be a star pitcher and a star outfielder and star everything, which, you know, they aren't always that way. But so that's good. Now, you guys have both had trainers, right? You guys have both had somebody who given you lessons, right?
Yeah.
So who's your favorite trainer or person to give you lessons, Bryce?
Coach Will.
Coach Will?
Yeah, Coach Will.
Okay.
Coach Andrew Dean.
Coach Andrew Dean. Shout out to Andrew Dean and shout out to Coach Will Hughes. Will Hughes actually was a stud pitcher for the high school that he's going to, Clear Falls, and played was it D2 baseball in college?
He played JUCO.
JUCO. It was JUCO until he hurt his arm. I think he's actually gonna.
He's going back, yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna go back
for his last year.
And he also talked about trying to do the walk-on for the Astros. You know, where they have open tryouts. And then
I think Will would be great on the Savannah Bananas.
that would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
And then give Andrew's background.
So Andrew formerly played for the Padres. Unfortunately, he got signed the year of COVID, and they had Greg Maddux come in and it was Greg Maddux and someone else.
No, Maddox is too old at that point in time. It was Yu Darvish.
That's right. Yu Darvish came in and took his spot. But I mean, still, he played for the Padres. He had a lot of good experiences with them. So, former pro, D1 college, great pitcher. You know.
What college did he go to? You know, I can't remember. He's a stud. He really
University of Arizona.
is that somewhere like that?
East side.
Okay. Bryce has gone to Andrew Dean until he moved over by Pasadena, right?
Yeah, he goes to 3K now.
Yeah. So when he was at Batter's Box in Webster, yeah, you guys all went to him there. It's important for you baseball kids that are out there to understand that you have to put in the work outside of practice. Would you guys agree?
Oh yeah, of course.
If you want to be better than anybody else on that field, you have to put that work in because you're only getting in Little League, you're getting 2 hours of practice a week.
Even
if 1 hour, rainouts and whatnot. 1 hour, 1 day of field practice and 1 day of batting cages. At least that's how Bayside worked. And then when you go to select, you have to pay for fields. So that gets really expensive. So you might have 1 day cages, 1 day field, or maybe 2 day field. That's not enough to become the best version of you as a baseball player. And there's all kinds of things you can do at home. Hitting off the tee, Bryce had spoke about. What else can you guys do at home? Field, hand-eye coordination drills with a tennis ball.
Tennis ball off the wall, yeah.
Yep. There's tons of things. Get your dad out.
So many you could do. I mean,
Yeah, get your dad out and go to a park and hit ground balls, pop flies.
We're gonna go to the high school after this.
Yeah, I'll go to the high school to the batting cages. Jax, give us, because you're one of the kids that works extremely hard outside of practice. Give us your routine that you do when you go to the cages and how often.
So
how often?
weekdays, Monday to Thursday, I'm at the cages from 7 in the morning to 11:45.
Okay.
And that entire time, it's work, work, work.
What are
know,
you doing?
I hit at least 1,000 balls
Okay.
off the machine, 500 off the tee, and then I work fielding, throwing, maybe a bullpen here and there, and then a lot of stretching, arm care workouts, a lot.
Okay. Now, Bryce, you go to the cage. We go up to the cages quite a bit. What is it that you do when what is the routine that we do when we're in there?
Well, we hit off the tee and do what is it?
Backhand.
Backhand and forehand hitting off the tee, and then we do soft toss,
Mm-hmm.
and then off the machine.
So when we're doing soft toss and we're working that, this is good for you kids out there. What are some of the things we do? Scenarios, don't we?
Oh, I love scenario soft toss.
So what is that? How does that work? What do I yell out?
You yell like
What the count is?
what the count is, and then if it's 0-1 or just
0-2. What are we doing?
0-2, you're choking up on
Protecting.
the bat. You're getting a wider stance. You're coming up closer to the plate,
Right.
and then first pitch swing for the fences.
Not on 0-2.
I don't know, too.
No, I said first pitch.
Yeah. First pitch. What if it's 2 balls, 0 strikes? What are we doing? Daddy hacks all day, right?
Oh, I'm taking on a 2-0 count.
On a 2-0 count? Why do I say that, Bryce? What's a pitcher trying to do?
Trying to
Throw a strike down the middle because he's struggling, right? So what if that one chance that he does throw a strike right down the middle in your zone, you're not taking that pitch. That's a daddy hack, bro. Because you might not get that pitch again. And what do we do? If you don't hit, you sit. That's exactly
Took me a minute
right.
to process that.
Right. If you don't hit, you sit. Now, the reason why I do this scenario is because I want our batters to be aggressive. If we have a pitch, I want you to hit it. I don't care where the ball goes, you're doing your job. Now, if you have a pitcher who's struggling, who's just walked 3 batters in front of you, and he's 0-2, I can understand taking an 0-3 or an 0-4,
0-3.
3 pitch, taking it and walking.
0-3?
Or 3-0, sorry. 3-0
It's a
pitch.
strikeout.
Yeah. So I coach aggressive batting. What are we doing on first pitch? Are we taking the first pitch?
Depends on the pitcher. I say.
What do I say? If it's down the middle,
Oh, if it's not, swing every time.
every time. We are not
Hacking at
taking
it.
first pitch, and if it's a strike in the zone, where our zone is. If it's a high, and that's not your zone, a high strike, I'm okay with taking it. Because I want you guys to be aggressive and jump on that pitcher as fast as you can, right? We could go all day about things in baseball and things that they've learned over the years, but we'll just cap it at that for the for the coaching 101 here. What is the I'll start with Jax. What is the best compliment you've ever had
Best compliment I've ever
from a
had.
coach?
Does a scout count?
Scout? Yep.
So I was at a 13U tournament. In that tournament, I had thrown a no-hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Not yours. Different one. For Ghost.
Okay.
And a scout for, I think it was 8A school out of somewhere in northern Texas came up to me and he asked me, hey, what's your name? You looked real good on the mound. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to keep in contact with you.
Oh, that's awesome. Bryce, what's your best compliment that you can remember, and by who, if you remember?
I don't remember anything that
No?
like.
Dude, I can remember one from you is I think you were playing in the outfield and you hosed the dude at home from the outfield.
Was that on the Legends?
I remember getting carried off the field or not carried into the dugout by the whole team because I made like a diving play in the outfield.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yep. Well, he did that for the Legends, but he also did it for the Bolts. So, yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of exciting things that can happen in the game of baseball. When you give it your all and you shine out, everybody loves it. Fans go wild. What's the worst part of playing sports?
Sports in general?
Just baseball or sports in general, yeah. What would you say, Jax?
The worst part? Well, I have a personal opinion, and I think it's waking up early.
Waking up early
Yeah.
for sports, even though you do it every morning to work out.
Oh, yeah. Well, working out in sports is different. You know, I don't want to wake up and go play 10 innings of baseball at 4:30 in the morning, 6
Sure.
hours out.
Yeah.
Like, holy, don't sign me up for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's awful. What about you, Bryce? What's the worst part
The
of?
worst part, I'm agreeing with. I'm not trying to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning just to travel like 2 hours away and
you know, just to lose the first game on Sunday and drive all the
just
way
to
back.
lose and then just go all the way back home.
So there's a couple things about youth sports. I would have to say, you know, I have a different version because I'm a coach. But what really bothers me is when coaches go overboard on the other team. I mean, it's like, you know, if it's a bad call by the umpire, I get it. I will defend the team too, but I'm not trying to fight nobody, right? That to me that ruins youth sports. If we're gonna fight over it, nobody's going to college, you know, off of this game. Also, parents are a pain as for a coach, and I'm not saying this about your parent or your parent because I'm your parent, but you know, having the conversation right after a baseball game of why my kid doesn't play here or there, that's really tough. Also, I mean, let's just let the kids be kids. Let's let them learn. If they're not producing,
They're not going to play.
they're not going to play. That's right. I mean, yes, there's a point where you can work on those things, but that's a practice.
Yeah.
Right,
You
and
got
I get it.
practice for practice, and you got play for the kids who do better in their positions.
That's right. Sundays for me are top 9, right? Doesn't matter if you're my kid or not. Top 9, you play. Saturdays, yeah, we can rotate. But if we have a horrible attitude as a kid, I mean, I can't get behind that. You know, rewarding a kid for bad attitude or being a bad teammate. So, and that's tough as a coach because you develop relationships with kids. You know, I've got a different relationship with you than I do Noah and Bryce, and I tried to be coach and on the field for him, and dad after. You know, I'm not gonna rip Bryce for the error that he made, and we may talk about how to be better, right? So Bryce, conversations with me after the game, and be honest, in the truck or wherever, are they bad?
No, they're just trying to. You're just trying to tell me what I have to, or coach me on what I should do and how to improve that.
Mm-hmm. And there are some parents that'll rip a kid when they get in the area in the vehicle.
My dad is one of those people.
So, all right. Well, we've done quite a bit here, boys. Almost an hour.
World War III.
No, we're
What?
not talking. We're not talking World War III right now.
Did you hear about the nuclear sites in
did.
Iran? Yeah.
I did. Anything else you guys want to talk about, baseball related, or what you guys are? Yeah, anything. Anything, Bryce? Anything you got? Anything you want to talk about other than World War III?
You
Huh?
know,
Yeah. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Biden. Oh, not Biden.
No, you gave a shout out to Biden. No.
I'd like to shout out Noah for not showing up today, and Coach Andrew for being one of the best trainers I've ever had.
Awesome.
Probably ever will have.
Okay, Bryce. Anybody you want to shout out?
Shout out to you for being an amazing coach, and shout out to Coach Will for being an amazing coach too, and also training me, and
Yeah.
coaching me well.
Good. Any friends you want to shout out? Like, hey, here's looking at you, kid. Like, girlfriends you want to shout out?
No,
Or
you gotta show up.
no?
Noah, you got to show up next time.
All right.
I don't care that you're winning.
Slack.
You come here.
We'll get him on the show next time. All right. I think that's it. We'll wrap this up and get you on your way. Thanks for tuning in to the Gray Area Podcast. Make sure you check out all of our social media. We're on X. We're on Facebook, TikTok. You'll be seeing some reels on TikTok, and we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, all that good stuff.
My.
Yeah, we're on it quite a bit.
That's where that $9 comes from.
Yeah. And what you guys don't understand is we actually have viewers in all kinds of countries all over the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we just started this thing.
All the 50 people.
No, there's more than 50 people. You got about
Probably like 1,500.
No, we've had a total of 15,000 people watch our show. Okay, so and that's awesome, and I appreciate you guys sharing the show and listening. And we look forward to seeing where you guys are all from, and put in the comments where you're from, topics you want us to talk about, guests you want us to have on. We'd love to have your Joe Rogans and your Gary Breckas and your Dana Whites, but that's not happening, not anytime soon. But yeah, thank you from the bottom of our hearts over here at the Gray Area Podcast. Keep it tuned right here, and make sure love each other. Adios, y'all.